Hello everyone, this is Ange. Welcome to another episode of the Visual Novel Monthly Recap. This is a video series where I highlight news related to major visual novel releases and the community for each month. In this video, I'll highlight anything that happened in September of 2021. Nitro Plus, the company known for visual novels like Muramasa, Totono, and Sayano Uda, announced a new brand called Nitro Origin. For the last few years in Japan, they haven't been creating these types of dark visual novels. It looks like with the announcement of Nitro Origin, they intend on making these types consistently again. Speaking of Nitro Plus, back in 2020, a fan translation for the demo of Axenail was released. The translation team for that demo confirmed they have started progress on translating the full visual novel proper. For all you Japanese readers who like Sakura no Uda, the trial for its long-awaited sequel, Sakura Notoki, was released on their website. The full version of Sakura Notoki is expected to release later this year. For those who have been following the fan translation of Akatsuki No Goei, they have released a new partial patch that includes the prologue, common route, as well as Aya's route. Shirobune released Onmyoji in the Otherworld, Sayaka Story. It looks to be a strategy RPG with only one dateable heroine, who is apparently the childhood friend. It released on both Jorin and Steam. And somewhat rare for a Steam release, it's actually 18 plus by default, so you don't need to apply any off-site patch or anything. Fatestayon is one of the oldest and most read fan translations in the visual novel community. However, people who have learned Japanese have noted that a lot of the original translation was very amateur-like, stilted, and literal. Hollow Moon is looking to do a retranslation to make it read not quite as amateur-like and have it read more like the writer Nasu's original prose style. A visual novel that's been getting some fairly high praise in the original English visual novel community was released called Find Love or Die Trying. It's a 100% free and short visual novel where you get to go on a dating show where you have to probably date someone or die. You get to choose your gender and between 5 to 6 love interests. People have been praising the graphics and how enjoyable it is for such a short and free VN. For those who are disappointed of the Steam release of Norineko 1 or The Princess, the Stray Cat, and Manners of the Heart, an 18 plus restoration patch is being worked on. For now, there's a partial patch for the Yuki route, which just restores the H-scene content and does not change any of the localized jokes in the main story. Light, the creators of DS Ire, announced they were closing a few years ago, or rather its parent company was. However, out of nowhere, Light announced a new title called Magatsu Barai, with more details going to be shown at the Tokyo Game Show 2021. We'll see if this leads to any potential English releases, especially after the controversial DS Ire Kickstarter. In a very surprising twist, HaremKingdom was released not by Nekonyan, who usually does SME titles, but Shirobune. So far, this visual novel has only been released on Jorin, but may release on Steam in the future. HaremKingdom is apparently an isekai visual novel with SME's usual humor, but you get to choose your harem of sorts, and the protagonist has no default name. Just keep in mind if you were used to previous SME titles that had no censor bars in the H scenes, like in Futuraba, Making Lovers, or Sugar Style, the Shirobune release of HaremKingdom will have mosaics. For any Otomege fans, Axis Games released another Otomate game in Olympia Soiri for the Nintendo Switch. For reference, the other Otomate VNs that have previously been released in English include Collar X Malice, Code Realize, Hakuoki, and a Psychedelica series. For any fans of traps, or I suppose we can call them male to female crossdressers, Arrowgate Japan released Trap Genesis on Steam. A group called Tsukihimates have banded to start a fan translation of the Tsukihime remake. The base will be a machine translation with humans who understand Japanese to be heavily checking and changing the machine translation for accuracy. Just USA released another remaster of a classic visual novel, this time of the Exchange series. It's a remastered collection of all 3 games in the original Exchange Trilogy, plus additional content from Exchange R, a remake of the first game with voiced lines and new artwork. Manga Gamer released another waffle-developed Nukige called Namaiki Dark Elf Sisters Cocky Chicks Craving Cream Pies. I think the name speaks for itself. This partially relates to visual novels, but Melty Blood Type Lumina released worldwide for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This is a fighting game that takes place based on the remake of Tsukihime. I believe it's a prequel even. Saber from Fatestayon Night was announced as the first non-Tsukihime character, which had some mixed reception. And that is it for September of 2021. As always, if you have any feedback, positive or negative, feel free to leave a comment below this video or one of my social medias. A very special thank you to 123321 for the coffee donation, always much appreciated.